My sister always dreamed of being a huge star. She poured all her energy into getting famous, going to audition after audition only to face constant rejection. But by a strange twist of fate, I was the one adopted by a wealthy family and turned into an A-lister. For that, she hated my guts. When I was sent back to the day of the adoption, my sister, Chloe, sang the song I had sung in my past life first. After being chosen, she smiled at me and said, "It's my turn to be the teen idol this time, sis." But she had no idea this was the beginning of her nightmare. When the Hamiltons arrived at the orphanage, my sister, who adored makeup, had uncharacteristically washed her face clean. She even stepped forward and shyly sang a children's song she used to despise. "Maya, isn't that the song you're always humming?" a little girl whispered, nudging my hand. I smiled. "It's fine. If she likes it, let her sing it." Soon, I overheard the Hamiltons talking with the director. That was my daughter's favorite song when she was little. She always dreamed of being a singer. "Let's go with this one. Just run a physical check, and if there are no issues, we'll adopt her." I knew my sister had gotten her wish. I looked up to see her walking toward me, her face smug, and she said something only we would understand. "It's my turn to be the teen idol this time, sis." She patted my shoulder. Her eyes filled with a joy she couldn't contain. "And you can just stay here in the orphanage and get made fun of for being the kid with no mom." Chloe couldn't wait to go pack her things. As she walked away, I silently mouthed at her back, "Thank you for saving me from a horrific death." In my past life, the Hamiltons did mold me into a world-famous celebrity. The city's digital billboards were covered with my endorsements. But it wasn't until I died that I learned they'd adopted me only to switch my body with their paralyzed daughter. And their daughter was already in her 30s. The day I won the Oscar for Best Actress, Mrs. Hamilton called me home. "Maya, we've given you the best of everything all these years. Now it's time for you to repay us." She gave me no room to argue, having her people take me to her daughter's side. In despair, I was injected with a drug and died. The last thing I saw was the woman standing up, using my body. For so many years, I had the maids wheel me to your bedside every night. "I just love your body so much." She wore my face as she let out a high-pitched laugh. "Now this body is finally mine." But right now my sister knew none of this. She quickly packed her things and left, sitting in a Rolls-Royce and waving goodbye to me with a smile through the window. Just like in my past life, we were separated by the dust kicked up by the car. Except back then, she was the one crying and chasing the car for a long time. Her face red as she ran like her life depended on it. She had screamed, "Don't leave me. And I don't want to be poor anymore. And I want to live a rich life too." But the Hamiltons' car never slowed down, and eventually, the director had to drag her back. This time, she had finally gotten her wish. Without a trace of sentimentality, I turned and went back into the orphanage. Summer vacation passed quickly. After the school split classes into arts and sciences tracks, I found myself in a new classroom. On the first day of the new semester, just as I sat down, I heard a commotion outside. "Oh my God, who is that? Why is she dressed like that? She's not even in uniform." "You better watch what you say. That's the new transfer student, Chloe Hamilton, from the Hamilton Group. Her family basically funds this whole school. She can wear whatever she wants." I looked up just in time to see my sister, dressed head to toe in a pink Chanel dress, walking surrounded by bodyguards. She had clearly gotten used to the life of a high society debutante. Her entire demeanor was a world away from what it used to be. Chloe spotted me immediately, and her brow furrowed in displeasure. "Is this still the honors class? The standards have really dropped. How can they let just anyone in?" She turned to the homeroom teacher. "Did my mommy and daddy not donate enough money to the school? What kind of screening process is this?" A drop of cold sweat trickled down the teacher's forehead as he stammered, unsure of what to say. Neither Chloe nor I were naturally gifted students. In my past life, I had just barely scraped by to get in, while she ended up at a vocational school. But later, with the Hamiltons' near torturous training and tutoring, my grades skyrocketed. The year I took my college entrance exams, I scored in the top 10 in the state with a perfect score in math, becoming known as the entertainment industry's most respected all-around teen idol. It was a shame my sister always believed my fame was just bought by the Hamiltons. She never once acknowledged my hard work. Seeing the teacher's predicament, I couldn't help but stand up. Even if I was dead last, I got in on my own merit. I'd like to ask you, how did you get in? But as soon as I said that, the teacher pushed his glasses up his nose with a fierce glare. Dead last? Then what right do you have to sit here? Get to the back of the classroom, now. I followed his finger and saw the seat was next to the trash can, surrounded by garbage thrown by other students. The students sitting in front of it were all big, burly guys. It was obvious that with my small frame, I wouldn't be able to see the blackboard at all from there. Chloe raised an eyebrow, and the other students broke into mocking laughter. I had nothing to say. I picked up my bag and moved to the back. The first class was math, and just as I expected, I was completely blocked by the people in front of me. The teacher had already written me off as a problem student and ignored me during questions. I figured the textbook material was child's play anyway, so I just decided to slack off, pulling my jacket over my head to take a nap. I slept through the whole class, and when I woke up, I heard the math teacher asking for volunteers for a competition. Does anyone want to participate in the national math competition? This is a great chance to bring honor to our school, so please sign up. For the past few years, the first place prize has always been won by Eastwood High. The principal is furious. We can't let them beat us again. But no matter how hard the teacher tried to sell it, the students just looked at each other and yawned. Sir, why don't you do it? How could we possibly compete with those geniuses from Eastwood? Yeah, seriously. They spend their summers in training camps before even starting high school. We'd get crushed. I didn't even understand today's lesson, and you're talking about a competition? Tell the principal to get some sleep and stop daydreaming. The teacher was so angry his glasses were nearly crooked. Sir, let me try. I raised my hand and stood up. The class went silent for a second, then erupted in unison with laughter. Everyone was banging on their desks and shouting. Isn't that the girl who's last in our class? What's gotten into her? We might not care about honor, but we do care about our reputation. I know this student's heart is in the right place, but maybe she shouldn't even start. I ignored their comments and looked firmly at the math teacher. Please give me a chance. I will bring honor to our school. The math teacher looked at me, at a loss for words. In the end, since no one else volunteered, he had no choice but to agree. During the break, I came back to the classroom to find my desk and chair had been knocked over, my books scattered all over the floor. On my desk, 2 big words were written in red ink. Trash. The class was gathered around, watching. I immediately spotted Chloe standing in the middle, her arms crossed as she stared at me. You think you're worthy of representing our class? Leo, the chubby kid who sat in front of me, turned around to taunt me. I'm embarrassed for you. You have no shame. The next second, I kicked his stool out from under him. Leo screamed and fell, then glared at me with wide, angry eyes. You little bee. Before he could finish, I swung my leg up high and pressed it down on his neck, pinning him to the ground. In my past life, I'd filmed a lot of action scenes. To make them look real, I never used a stunt double. I did all of it myself. Anyone else have a problem? Step up now, I said, my cold gaze sweeping across the classroom. We can go one by one. The class was in an uproar. Many of them gasped. A moment later, a chorus of woes rippled through the room. One girl looked at me with stars in her eyes. You're so cool. Can you teach me how you did that move? But then Chloe let out a cold snort, and the girl didn't dare say another word. Maya, do you really think this makes up for the fact that you're a total airhead? Chloe walked toward me, step by step. Right in front of me, her shiny black loafers stepped onto my books. You don't know, do you? That math competition is next month. I'd love to see how you're going to handle that. I looked at her and slowly curved my lips into a smile. Next month? I wouldn't care if it was this month. That first place prize is mine. For the next month, Chloe got the entire class to ignore me. But I couldn't care less about that kind of passive-aggressive bullying. I skipped a few meals to save up money for a competition prep book and spent my free time working on problems. Soon, the day of the math competition arrived. Since it was a major national event, A lot of local media were there. As I arrived, a female reporter happened to stop me. "Excuse me, what high school are you from? How are your grades usually?" In my past life, I'd done countless interviews, so this time, I almost instinctively found the camera. "I'm from Brookfield High. My grades are okay, I guess." "Are you confident about today's test?" "I'm confident. I hope the questions give me some confidence too," I said with a smile, giving her a slight nod. "Sorry, time's almost up. I'm going to head in." I had only casually agreed to the interview, but I never expected that the wheels of fate had just begun to turn. The morning passed quickly. When I walked out of the exam hall, I saw the same reporter standing across from me. Swarms of students rushed past, but she just stood there, smiling at me. "We meet again. So, how do you think you did this time?" I replied half-jokingly. "I think it went okay. I hope the results don't make a liar out of me." Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a Maybach parked next to her. Someone inside was looking at me. It seemed like they couldn't help but let out a small laugh. For some reason, that car felt very familiar. At the end of the interview, the reporter couldn't help but say with feeling, "If you weren't wearing a school uniform, I would have thought you were a big star in the entertainment industry. You're very well spoken and have a great look. More importantly, you have a very special kind of presence." The competition was on a Saturday. When I returned to school on Monday, the other students suddenly stopped making fun of me. Or rather, they didn't have time to. Everyone was buzzing with excitement. "Holy shit, did you guys see what's trending? I heard Director Evans is at our school scouting for a role." I glanced at the phone screen of Leo in front of me. Sure enough, there was a trending topic. Hashtag Director Evans searching for new lead. It even had a viral tag next to it. People in the comments were saying, "Who's going to hit the jackpot this time? All his movies are huge hits. OMG, the male lead in his new drama is my celebrity crush. I'm so jealous of whoever gets to be the female lead." An insider said Director Evans already has someone in mind and has gone to their school to find them. "I'm waiting to see. He's a huge perfectionist when it comes to looks. I wonder who caught his eye. I'm with Director Evans on this. A high school protagonist should be played by an actual teenager." Suddenly, I heard some classmates discussing it. "Hey, you think it could be Chloe Hamilton? She's always talking about how her parents are going to make her a star." "Very possible, with her family being so rich and powerful." Hearing this, Chloe couldn't stop the corners of her mouth from turning up. She smiled and said, "My parents did take me to have dinner with Uncle Alex. He said I have a lot of potential and he'd consider me first for any roles. If my parents didn't want me to focus on my studies, I wouldn't even be sitting here. The entertainment industry is where I belong." As they were talking, a boy came running in from outside, out of breath and his face flushed with excitement. "Breaking news. Director Evans and his team are on our floor." His eyes were shining. "The school administrators are all in the department head's office right now. Oh my God, our grade is about to have a celebrity." The class completely lost it. "Director Evans?" I thought for a moment, then couldn't resist poking the guy in front of me. "Which Director Evans?" Leo was still scared of me after the last beatdown. His back had been sore for days. When I poked him, he instinctively flinched and clutched his side. The one who specializes in high school dramas, Director Evans." He looked at me with terror in his eyes, his whole body on high alert. "Oh." I nodded and sank back into my seat. In my past life, this director hated rich kids, like me who had connections. He'd publicly stated he would never work with me. Probably had nothing to do with me this time around, either. The bell for class rang, and the students quieted down, switching to whispers. Many of them thought he was here for Chloe, since her family was so powerful, and she was always so well dressed. She had also expressed her desire to be a star many times. But then I heard a girl say, "You think it could be Maya? She's the prettiest girl in our grade." Chloe heard this. She was in the middle of applying lipstick in her compact mirror, and she immediately flared up. "Are you crazy?" She slammed her mirror shut and glared at the girl. "Let me tell you something, Hollywood directors don't just pick people randomly. The ones who get chosen all have connections. If you don't know what you're talking about, then shut up. Just then, the dean's voice came from outside. Yes, Director Evans, the student is right here in class 3. I wouldn't have guessed it. She's usually so quiet. I can't believe she was lucky enough to be chosen by you. Everyone in our class gasped. Class 3, isn't that our class? The next second, a calm, deep male voice spoke up. Thank you, Dean. You and the other teachers don't need to come in with me. Let me speak with the student alone. When Director Evans walked in with a few assistants, the whole class held its breath. Chloe let out a smug laugh, ready to be chosen. She stood tall, her head held high, afraid the director wouldn't see her. In truth, Chloe, not wearing a uniform, already stood out among the other students. But Director Evans didn't even glance at her. His gaze slowly swept across the class. Uncle Alex. Chloe finally couldn't hold back. She prompted him, I'm over here. Director Evans looked at her when he heard her voice, a flicker of confusion in his eyes, but he quickly moved on. He gave a polite nod. Chloe didn't understand. She couldn't help but ask, Aren't you here to see me? At that exact moment, Director Evans's eyes landed on me, at the very back of the classroom. Maya, there you are. I finally found you. His expression visibly shifted from indifference to pleasant surprise. Let me introduce myself. My name is Alex Evans. I'm a director. Would you be interested in being in a movie? I was completely dumbfounded, but Chloe shot up from her seat with a whoosh. The muscles in her face were trembling. Why her? Chloe shouted it out almost involuntarily. But no matter how much she questioned it, it didn't change anything. Director Evans said he had noticed me outside the exam hall on the day of the math competition. A reporter happened to be interviewing me, and he listened in for a bit, and felt I was a perfect fit for the female lead in his new movie. It suddenly dawned on me. The person in the Maybach that day had been him. I had originally thought that from the day of the adoption, my connection to the entertainment world was completely severed. I never expected that, by a strange twist of fate, I would be chosen once again. Only this time I no longer had the Hamiltons behind me. In the days that followed, Chloe was clearly devastated. She stopped coming to school, and I had no idea what she was up to. Reporters came to the school every day hoping to interview me, but they were all stopped by security. I was happy for the peace and quiet. One day, I was reading in the classroom when a classmate came to tell me the principal wanted to see me. When I got to the principal's office, I saw a familiar, hypocritical face I hadn't seen in a long time. Mrs. Hamilton. You must be Maya. Have a seat. She looked kind and benevolent, slowly sipping from a teacup. In my past life, I was deceived by this very appearance, and it led to my tragic death in the 5th year after she adopted me. Chloe sat beside her, smirking and clinging to Mrs. Hamilton's arm like a spoiled child. Mom, she's the one who insisted on hogging the spotlight, taking the lead role in Uncle Alex's new movie. She pouted. We're all so annoyed with her. We don't know what tricks she pulled, but everyone thinks the part should have been mine. The principal immediately slammed his hand on the desk. Maya, what is wrong with you? Instead of focusing on your studies, what kind of shady business are you getting into behind the scenes? I said calmly. I didn't do anything. The director chose me. But Chloe is more suitable than you, Mrs. Hamilton interrupted. You can refuse. Why should I refuse? Why should something that belongs to me be taken away by someone else? I dug my nails into my palm, forcing down the hatred rising in my chest. Your daughter is a person, but no one else is? Is everyone else in your eyes just an object whose life can be taken away at any moment? Maya, how dare you talk to my mommy like that? You've got some nerve. Chloe shot up and yelled, but Mrs. Hamilton raised a hand to stop her. She still looked at me with that merciful expression, her gaze even kinder than before. You don't have to agree, but we have ways to make you agree. Child, you're still too young. There are many paths in life. Why must you walk down one that doesn't belong to you? She took a first-place certificate for the national math competition out of her purse. My name was written on it. After a moment, she smiled and tore the certificate in half. She tossed it into the trash can like garbage. Some things, when gained for a moment, will only make you lose even more miserably later on. That afternoon, the list of winners for the math competition was released. There was only one first-place winner, and it wasn't someone from the rival high school. It was me. Our math teacher was ecstatic. He rushed into the classroom with the list, giving me a huge thumbs up. "You were holding out on us, Maya. You're my idol now. No wonder you don't pay attention in class. You don't need to. Geniuses are always misunderstood." The students who had mocked me before now had looks of shame on their faces. The math teacher even bought a huge box of ice cream for us out of his own pocket. When the class president and other student leaders were handing out the ice cream, the whole class was thrilled. Everyone except Chloe. She sat at her desk, putting on makeup. When she was done, she stood up and walked to the front of the class. The class president thought she wanted some ice cream and handed one to her. "Here you go, Chloe." But after she took it, she deliberately let go. The white, creamy swirl splattered onto the floor, leaving a sticky mess. The students froze. "Are you all that desperate? You'll eat just anything." Chloe turned to me coldly. "Maya, let me tell you, don't get too happy too soon. Some things are just not meant to be yours." I looked at Chloe calmly. I just thought that her makeup today seemed particularly heavy. A few days later, the reporter who had interviewed me came to the school to take me out to lunch. She introduced herself as Jenna and said she'd been in the industry for 6 or 7 years. "I've always had a good feeling about you. Even though you're young, you have this quality about you, like you've been through a lot, a kind of settled and calm presence." Jenna put a chicken leg on my plate. A string of prayer beads was visible on her slender wrist as her sleeve pulled back. "Congratulations on winning first place. And congratulations on becoming the lead in director Evans's new movie at such a young age." I accepted her kindness. "Thanks, Jenna. You're the only one who's always supported me." She smiled. "I have good news too. Besides the story about you, the genius beauty, I also caught another hot tip that's about to become a headline. My colleague got footage of a rich girl who tried to get the lead role in director Evans's new movie by knocking on his door in the middle of the night. She even started taking her clothes off at the door. Right now, the girl's parents are in crisis mode trying to do damage control, but I won't let them get away with it. If people like that can get into the entertainment industry, it'll be chaos." I stopped chewing on my chicken leg. "This rich girl, is her last name Hamilton?" "Shoo." Jenna put a finger to her lips. She gave me a mysterious wink. "I can't say yet. You'll find out next Monday." I never expected it. The headline on Monday wasn't about the rich girl Jenna had mentioned. It was, "Veteran female reporter found murdered, body discovered in lakeside wilderness." She had been on her way home from a night shift when she was dragged into a black van on the side of the road. The victim had been tortured before her death. Police suspected it was a premeditated revenge killing. In the blurred video, I could see a string of prayer beads wrapped around the corpse's right hand. I recognized them. They were Jenna's. That night, I skipped evening study hall and left the school. Thankfully, none of the teachers paid much attention to me, so no one would notice if I was there or not. A few hours later, I was walking back to school in the dark, my mind preoccupied. As I reached a street corner, I suddenly heard the sound of hurried footsteps behind me. I turned around and was shocked to see it was Chloe. She was in her pajamas, her hair a mess, running and constantly looking back. "What's wrong with you?" I spoke suddenly, startling her. "Mom, Maya, let me ask you something. In your past life at the Hamiltons, did you ever feel like something was off?" She grabbed my wrist so tightly her nails were digging into my skin. I could feel that she was on the verge of tears. "Like, how Mrs. Hamilton made you drink a glass of milk every night, saying it was good for you, and then you'd sleep like a rock until morning. But maybe one day you suddenly didn't want to drink it, so you spat some of it out, and in the middle of the night, you felt like the wall in your bedroom moved, and there was a sound, the sound of wheels rolling." Chloe suddenly shivered violently and lunged toward me, hissing in a near whisper. "Did you ever feel like there was another person hidden in the Hamiltons' house? Someone we've never seen. And that person isn't far from us. It's even at my bedside every single night." I moved my lips, wanting to tell her the truth, but I was worried that with her personality, she would reveal everything too quickly and bring disaster upon herself. You really do know something. Chloe stared at me, her eyes bloodshot. No wonder you gave the adoption opportunity to me. Tell me, were you trying to set me up? Maya, if I die, you're not getting off easy either. But before I could speak, an incredibly gentle voice came from not far behind us. Chloe, Mrs. Hamilton, dressed elegantly and with a serene expression, was standing there with several men in black. In that instant, Chloe froze as if someone had hit the pause button. She snatched her hand away from me as if she'd been electrocuted and turned her head stiffly. Mommy, what are you doing out here so late instead of sleeping at home? Mrs. Hamilton's voice was like honeyed water. She walked over, step by step, and wrapped a coat around Chloe, placing a hand on her shoulder. Do you have any idea how worried Mommy was about you? Come home with Mommy. It gets cold at night. Be careful not to catch a chill. She was like a mother deeply worried about her child, taking Chloe's hand. Chloe followed her into the darkness like a puppet on a string. At a corner, Chloe suddenly turned back to look at me. I can't describe the look in her eyes. Resentment, regret, all of it finally melting into a dead, hopeless despair. Chloe didn't come back to school for the next few days. Everyone was used to it, and the teachers, intimidated by her background, didn't dare to ask. But I felt a growing sense of unease. That day, I finally couldn't take it anymore and decided to go to the police. But I never expected it. That afternoon, Chloe returned to school, safe and sound. She had a new backpack, and her hair was tied up. She gave off a sense of being new to the world, curious about everything. What surprised me even more was her demeanor. Chloe usually looked at everything with disdain. But today, she would occasionally laugh to herself for no reason. Suddenly, Chloe seemed to realize I was watching her. She turned her head. Our eyes met, and she suddenly raised 2 fingers to tuck a strand of hair behind her ear. It was that gesture that made my pupils shrink. I suddenly remembered Mrs. Hamilton's biological daughter, the emaciated woman with a disfigured face. In my past life, after she had taken my body, she stood up before the tearful eyes of Mr. and Mrs. Hamilton. As I lay dying, I watched her walk stiffly toward me. I am Sarah. Sarah Hamilton. She had repeated the name they gave me in my past life, then suddenly burst out laughing. She looked at me, slowly raised 2 fingers, and tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. I would never forget that gesture for as long as I lived. I realized that the girl in front of me was no longer my sister. Even though I had always been indifferent toward Chloe, when I truly knew that she might no longer be alive, my heart couldn't help but ache. Maya, the person who was now Chloe Hamilton, having been trained by the family, had perfectly mastered my sister's mannerisms. She approached me, calling my name just as my sister would. I heard Director Evans's new movie is having its press conference soon. Did he invite you? He did. Congratulations. The prize money for the competition should be coming in soon too. I heard first place gets a $20,000 award from the school. I know. That's fantastic. The new Chloe flashed a bright, innocent smile and held out her hand to me. Congratulations again. The other students had been watching us out of the corners of their eyes. They thought Chloe was about to start trouble again, but they were surprised by her reaction. What's going on? I thought Chloe hated Maya's guts. Yeah, the other day I picked up something Maya dropped, and Chloe gave me the dirtiest look. Did Chloe take the wrong medicine today, or am I still asleep? I've seen it all now. But Chloe turned directly to the class and said with a grin, "What are you guys talking about? I was wrong before. Now I sincerely apologize to Maya. I hope she can forgive me and we can be good friends." I looked at this face, so close and so magnified. It was so familiar, yet so strange. After a moment, I smiled just as brightly and linked my arm with hers. Of course. I knew you were just joking around before. How could I ever really hold a grudge against you? That's wonderful. She threw her arms around me in a hug. The next day, the top student from the class next door found me and asked mysteriously, "Did you get the prize money from the math competition? So, how much did you get?" I frowned. Did they hand it out? I didn't get anything. Stop pretending, the boy said with a click of his tongue. I got mine for 3rd place. You, the genius, shouldn't be so secretive. Just tell me how much you got. I promise I won't tell anyone. It was during the break, and students were out getting water. The dean suddenly walked up to me. He dropped 2 cold sentences. Maya, you cheated in the math competition. Although the certificate was issued, the school will not tolerate this kind of behavior. There will be no prize money. I hope you'll reflect on your actions and not tarnish the school's reputation for your own selfish gain in the future. He walked away, leaving the boy who had been talking to me staring in shock. You is this for real? I already knew the Hamiltons wouldn't let me off easy, so I looked at him expressionlessly. If I said I earned it all on my own, would you believe me? Only a fool would believe that. The person who spoke was a student from my class. She was holding up her phone high in the air, shouting to everyone as if she'd discovered a new continent. Everyone, come look at what's trending. Our class's big star is famous now for cheating. My eyes narrowed. I strode forward and snatched her phone. On X, a topic was trending. Hashtag Director Evans' new lead Maya cheated on exam. The topic was climbing the trending list rapidly. I clicked into the feed and saw that the related material was a photo of a girl who, at first glance, looked a lot like me. In the photo, the girl was sneaking into a bathroom, and a competition prep book had accidentally fallen out of her pocket. The gossip account that posted the photo claimed, a test taker sent this to me on the day of the competition. For certain reasons, I've only just been able to post it. What's the point of winning first place by sneaking a look at materials in the bathroom? Someone immediately dug up the interview I did that day and pointed out that the clothes matched. In an instant, the comments were filled with vitriol. Netizens were calling for Director Evans to drop me, calling me a person of low character. However, to my surprise, Director Evans responded quickly. I've already called the event organizers. They said some of the surveillance footage is missing, and the situation is still under investigation. You're going to declare Maya a cheater based on one blurry photo where you can't even see her face? It's way too easy to frame someone these days. Strangely, his post shot to the top of the trending list shortly after he posted it. His account wasn't that popular, yet it had climbed to the top in an extremely short amount of time. Knowing the ins and outs of the entertainment industry, I immediately sensed something was wrong. Sure enough, an hour after his post, a well-known celebrity paparazzi posted, "Of course he's going to protect his own girl." I recognized that this paparazzo was affiliated with the Hamiltons. His intentions were sinister. The accompanying photo was of an adult man holding the hand of a girl in a school uniform. This post was reposted by many other verified influencers also connected to the Hamiltons. The blogger who had initially accused me of cheating also chimed in. TSK, TSK, TSK. This is why I didn't dare to post it at first. Who would dare to offend such a powerful man? Under this carefully orchestrated campaign, the internet completely exploded. Countless onlookers rushed to the trending topic to hurl insults. Holy crap, I knew no one who makes it in Hollywood is just an ordinary person. I actually thought this Director Evans was a breath of fresh air in the industry. I can't believe he's like this. Maya is so disgusting at such a young age. Everyone boycott this movie. My favorite actor is the male lead in this. I'm taking my boy and running. We want no part of this. This Maya girl is so nauseating, trying to create this genius beauty straight A student image. I'm gonna puke. No wonder my favorite actress didn't get the part. Turns out the director already had someone in mind. Huh? Hey, what's wrong with you? Give me my phone back. The girl deliberately waited until I had seen everything before she started yelling. I shot her a death glare. Shut up. She was startled and immediately fell silent. Just then, Chloe, who had been hiding in the crowd and using the girl as her mouthpiece, finally stepped forward. She sighed and placed a hand on my shoulder with false sympathy. Maya, I'm sure you have nothing to do with any of this. But I just received an invitation from the investors of Director Evans's movie. They want me to take your place. Don't worry, of course I refused. I'll go to the press conference with you tomorrow. I'll make my position clear on the spot. Her speech immediately won over many of the students. After a moment, I let out a low laugh. Great. Tomorrow you have to be there. It was time for this drama to finally come to an end. That night, I sent all the information I had gathered to the police. The rich girl, Jenna had mentioned to me that day, was my sister. On the day she was murdered, she had been meeting with several media outlets with the original video footage, but someone betrayed her, leading to her tragic death. But she had backed up the video long before, and she even had other evidence incriminating the Hamiltons. The Hamiltons people had been searching for that information, even tearing apart Jenna's office to find it. But they didn't know that everything was with Jenna's boyfriend. Jenna's boyfriend told me all of this. I respected his decision to stay silent to protect himself, but I wasn't afraid. From the day I was reborn, I had been using clues from my past life to investigate the Hamiltons' tax evasion, bribery, and other illegal activities. The Hamiltons' empire was finally about to fall. At the movie's press conference, I could see that Director Evans was visibly thinner than the last time we met. But he still put on a brave face to encourage me, saying resolutely, "We all know what's going on here. Some lowlife is trying to use this to force my hand, but I refuse to give in. I can stop making movies, I can be forced out of the industry, but I will never, ever use someone from their family." I followed his gaze and saw Mrs. Hamilton and Chloe seated in the VIP section. Mrs. Hamilton clearly treated her biological daughter differently from how she had treated us. Her smiling eyes never left Chloe. Chloe was still looking around with a curious gaze, a full table of pastries in front of her. Sometimes, when she got some on her face, Mrs. Hamilton would reach out and wipe away the crumbs for her. I leaned in and whispered in the director's ear, "Don't worry, director. Today, the truth about everything will come out, and the wicked will get the punishment they deserve." The director froze for a second and looked at me, stunned. I smiled and winked at him. "You'll see in a little while." Sure enough, when the press conference officially began, the reporters asked a couple of questions about the movie before eagerly turning their fire on us. "Director Evans, please explain the recent trending topics." "Director Evans, did you know Maya before the casting process?" "Maya, it's rumored you're from an orphanage. Did this lead you to develop a father complex?" "Maya, you've been known as a straight-A student and a beauty, but now you're embroiled in one scandal after another. Do you have anything to say?" A reporter from a certain media company even said publicly, "Director Evans, our boss is also an investor in this film, and is extremely disappointed with this situation. Have you considered replacing the female lead?" She turned and pointed at the extravagantly dressed Chloe in the center of the venue. "For example, that girl over there. I think she would also be a great fit. If you look closely, her features even resemble Maya's." In an instant, all the media cameras turned to Chloe. She put on a look of helpless confusion, stood up, and said in a soft, weak voice, "Please don't be like this. Maya and I are classmates and good friends. I came here today specifically to support her." After a pause, she suddenly adopted a tone of righteous indignation on my behalf. "Why are you all in the media so obsessed with people's private lives? Doesn't everyone have the right to pursue the life they want?" She was pretending to defend me, but in reality, she was cementing my guilt. As she wished, reporters swarmed around her to start interviewing her. "Miss Hamilton, you said you're classmates with Maya. Could you tell us about her personality? Is the cheating scandal true or not? Is Maya really a top student? What's her personal life like? Is it like the rumors say? What exactly is her relationship with Director Evans?" "Maya," Chloe hesitated, looking at me with a frown before turning to the reporters. "Even if she's not a top student, what does that have to do with you? What century is this? Is it wrong to fall in love?" Her words caused an uproar. She had effectively pinned all the slander on me. She was still shouting excitedly, "No, what's the point of asking all this? She's just a kid. Are you going to keep pushing until you drive a student to her death? How is hounding her like this any different from being a murderer?" At that moment, I finally couldn't help but laugh out loud. I took the microphone and said slowly, "You're right, there is a murderer in this room. And that person, Chloe, is someone you know very well, isn't she?" Mrs. Hamilton's eyes went cold. Chloe didn't react at first, her eyes darting around as she tried to think of something to say. But I had already turned to a staff member I had arranged for earlier. "I have a video I'd like to show everyone. I understand you all have KPIs to meet, so today, I'm going to help you all hit your quotas in one go. At the same time, the words "new movie press conference" on the screen slowly faded. The next second, a video appeared on the screen. It was the video of my sister, wearing only a sexy slip dress, knocking on Director Evans's hotel room door. "Director Evans, what did Maya give you? Do you like them young? Well, you should take a look at me. I'm younger, more vibrant. Please have some self-respect." Director Evans tried to shut the door in a rage, but Chloe blocked it with her body. "Chloe, how old are you? How could you do something so shameless? And let me tell you, I never consider anyone who uses underhanded tactics for a role, and that includes your parents. You go back and tell them to give up. Don't try to use your threats and bribes on me." The video caused a massive stir in the audience. Mrs. Hamilton shot to her feet. She wanted to order someone to turn off the screen, but was restrained by the people I had arranged beforehand. I wanted her to watch, helpless to do anything. Hearing people whisper, "Were we used as pawns? Did we misunderstand Director Evans?" His eyes instantly turned red. He turned away, took off his glasses, and secretly wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. But the video continued. The next scene was set in the Hamilton Group's corporate office. "That old bastard Alex Evans is just asking for it." Mr. Hamilton angrily threw a teacup to the floor. Mrs. Hamilton smiled and consoled him. "If he won't work with us, we'll just handle it the old way. Ruin him. As for that Maya, I've already arranged everything. Soon, the news that she cheated will be all over the internet. Then, I'll make sure both she and Alex Evans are completely disgraced." But that wasn't all. The constant flashes of cameras lit up the screen. I raised the microphone and said loudly, "And now, I'll let everyone witness the true face of the murderer I just mentioned." When a screenshot of a chat log, seemingly between Mrs. Hamilton and Mr. Hamilton, appeared on the screen reading, "A reporter has been causing us trouble lately. This one's tough. Money isn't working." She finally let out a piercing scream. "Maya." Mrs. Hamilton pointed a trembling finger at me, her voice filled with accusation. "Just because Chloe might have taken your role, you're going to stoop to fabricating evidence? Where did these videos and chat logs come from? This is illegal, you know that. I'm calling my lawyer. I'm calling the police." I laughed. "Calling the police? I've already done it for you." I smiled and walked off the stage, coming to stand before her. My stare made her tremble. Chloe tried to grab me, but was pulled away by Director Evans's assistant. After all these years, to be this close to her again, I couldn't quite describe the feeling in my heart. She was the one who took my hand and gave me a home. She was also the one who injected me with a drug and took my life. I had once worked myself to the bone, filming scenes even while on M4 drip with a high fever, just so I wouldn't disappoint her. I truly had seen her as a mother, as the most important person in my life. The day I won the Oscar, I rushed home, desperate to share my joy with her. But I never imagined that she would choose that day to end everything for me. "The police are on their way. Tell me, are they going to question you about the torture and murder of the reporter, Jenna, first? Or about the team you funded to conduct illegal human experiments?" Mrs. Hamilton's eyes widened. Fear choked her, making it impossible to breathe. I smiled and patted her shoulder. "I believe what goes around, comes around. What about you? Did you ever feel a moment of worry when you were doing those things?" "Maya, you animal," Mrs. Hamilton said through gritted teeth. "Why would you do this? I really regret not paying attention to you sooner. I always thought you were just an airhead, but I never imagined you were this calculating." She stared into my eyes, her once flawless mask finally cracking, revealing the rotten, corrupt core within. "I was an airhead once. But unfortunately for you." I leaned down slowly, whispering in her ear, "In my past life, you already taught me everything, hand in hand. My dear mother." At the end of the day, the police arrived. What awaited Mrs. Hamilton and Chloe were handcuffs and utter disgrace. Chloe couldn't help but break down in tears, while Mrs. Hamilton, as if her soul had left her body, kept looking back at me in a daze. I waved at her and gave her a thoughtful reminder. "I know family is the most important thing to you. Don't worry, Mr. Hamilton is already waiting for you in jail." Your little family of 3 will be reunited very soon. Epilogue. In the basement of the Hamiltons' home, the police found the body of a woman who had been dead for a long time. Under interrogation, everything came to light, and all of the Hamiltons' crimes were exposed to the public. Everyone involved received the punishment they deserved. I turned down Director Evans's offer to buy me a mansion as a thank you gift and returned to the orphanage. On the day Chloe was leaving the orphanage, she was packing her things. When a girl tried to help her, she glared fiercely at her and said, "Get up. Get your dirty hands off my things. I'm going to be a big star soon. Are you even worthy of talking to me?" Her words were for the girl, but her eyes were on me. From this day on, I won't miss a single opportunity. Soon, we will be worlds apart. Chloe was determined to use her rebirth to seize every advantage. But I believe that heaven was kind to give us a second chance. This unique advantage and ability weren't given to us to lord over those less fortunate. They were meant to be used to help them. I pulled the girl aside and patted her head. Don't listen to her. Study hard, and I promise you in the future, you'll become an outstanding doctor. A highly skilled doctor with true compassion, who would speak up for the vulnerable. A doctor? The girl chewed on the word, a look of confusion on her face. Can I? But just last week, my teacher wanted to call my parents and said someone like me has no future. You can, I said, bending down gently to meet her gaze. Trust me, and I believe in you 100%. The old story is over, and a new one is about to begin. And it will be a new, wonderful life.